I truly hope you're having a calm and meaningful day. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe if you value stories that slow us down and remind us of the importance of human connection. Some stories don't unfold with dramatic headlines or shocking revelations. Instead, they arrive quietly, wrapped in emotion, reflection, and shared understanding. This is one of those stories. For decades, Kelly Ripa and Consuelos have welcomed audiences into their lives, not as distant celebrities, but as people navigating marriage, work, and family in real time. Their story resonates not because it is extraordinary, but because it feels familiar, grounded, and deeply human. Why Kelly and Mark feel so familiar? Kelly Ripa and Consuelos have never presented themselves as perfect. Their appeal has always come from honesty, humour, and a willingness to share everyday moments, parenting challenges, marriage dynamics, and the passage of time. Over the years, viewers didn't just watch them, they grew alongside them. Morning routines included their voices, their laughter, and their reflections. That consistency created a sense of trust. They became symbols not of perfection, but of longevity, partnership, and resilience built over years rather than moments. When stability feels less certain, what makes long-term relationships so meaningful is also what makes them vulnerable. When something feels off, even subtly, it can shake the sense of security built over time. Sometimes uncertainty doesn't arrive as a crisis. It appears as fatigue, emotional distance, or moments of quiet concern. These shifts are easy to dismiss, especially in busy lives filled with commitments and responsibilities. Kelly has spoken before about how easy it is to push through discomfort, to assume rest or time will smooth things out, because that's what many of us do. The quiet weight of concern. In many relationships, one partner often notices subtle changes before the other does, not because of fear, but because of familiarity. When you've shared years with someone, you recognize patterns, their energy, their habits, their expressions. When those patterns change, even slightly, concern grows quietly. Kelly has reflected on how moments of worry don't always feel urgent at first. They sit in the background, competing with schedules, obligations, and the hope that everything will simply return to normal. When perspective shifts, there are moments in life that force perspective to change, not through drama, but through clarity. A conversation, a realization, or a moment of vulnerability can suddenly make everything else feel less important. Kelly has described experiences like this not as panic-filled, but as grounding. Moments that remind you what actually matters. In those instances, the future doesn't feel frightening, it feels precious, and that shift alone can change how you approach every day that follows. The experience of waiting. Anyone who has ever faced uncertainty knows how heavy waiting can feel. Not knowing answers can be more difficult than hearing hard truths. Kelly has spoken about how moments of pause, waiting for clarity, reassurance, or simply time to pass, can stretch endlessly. In those moments, strength doesn't come from certainty. It comes from presence, from staying steady, offering reassurance, and choosing calm even when fear tries to take over. Choosing presence over panic. One of the most powerful themes Kelly has shared is the choice to remain present, not rushing ahead mentally, not replaying worst-case scenarios, just staying in the moment, offering support, and focusing on what can be controlled. That kind of presence isn't easy. It requires intention and emotional discipline, but it's also what allows relationships to remain grounded when uncertainty enters the picture. Speaking honestly without sensationalism. When Kelly eventually addressed emotional moments publicly, she did so with restraint and care. There were no dramatic claims or detailed explanations. Instead, she spoke about gratitude, perspective, and the importance of appreciating what we often take for granted. That choice mattered. It kept the focus on emotional truth rather than speculation. It reminded audiences that not every personal challenge needs to be fully explained to be meaningful. Love that evolves under pressure. Long-term love doesn't remain static. It evolves, deepens, and reshapes itself in response to life's challenges. Kelly and Mark's relationship has always reflected that evolution. Through uncertainty, their partnership didn't fracture. It strengthened, not through grand gestures, but through consistency, through showing up, through choosing patience, understanding, and mutual support even when emotions ran high. Gratitude in the middle of uncertainty. One of the most striking reflections Kelly has shared is the role gratitude plays during difficult periods. Gratitude doesn't erase fear, but it softens it. It reframes experience. Instead of focusing solely on what could be lost, gratitude highlights what already exists: the years shared, the memories built, the life lived together. That perspective doesn't deny uncertainty, it balances it. Progress isn't always dramatic. Healing, growth, and emotional recovery rarely happen all at once. They arrive gradually, often unnoticed at first. Kelly has spoken about how progress is measured in quiet moments rather than milestones. Feeling lighter, laughing again without effort, finding comfort in routine. These changes may seem small, but they represent movement forward, and movement forward is everything. When fear tries to return, even after stability begins to return, fear can resurface unexpectedly. That doesn't mean progress is lost. It means growth is ongoing. Kelly has acknowledged that learning to live with uncertainty doesn't mean eliminating fear. It means understanding it, recognizing when it appears, acknowledging it, and choosing not to let it dictate every decision. The role of support and community. One unexpected outcome of vulnerability is connection. Kelly has spoken about the messages she received from viewers who shared their own experiences of navigating uncertainty in relationships and life. These weren't expressions of curiosity, but empathy. They reflected a shared understanding that fear, love, and resilience are universal experiences. That sense of community reinforced the idea that no one navigates difficult seasons entirely alone. Strength that flows. Both ways, support in a partnership is never one-directional. While Kelly offered steadiness, Mark offered reassurance in return. Strength moved between them, adapting to the moment. That balance is what sustains long-term relationships. Some days, one partner carries more. Other days, the roles reverse. What matters is the shared commitment to carry each other through, redefining what matters. Experiences that challenge routine often redefine priorities. Kelly has spoken about how moments of reflection reshaped her understanding of time. What once felt urgent became less important. What once felt optional became essential. Presence, connection, and appreciation took center stage. That shift isn't dramatic, but it's transformative. Life after the moment passes. Once emotional storms settle, life doesn't return to exactly what it was before. It moves forward with added awareness. Kelly and Mark didn't emerge unchanged. They emerged more intentional, more aware of boundaries, more appreciative of quiet moments. Growth doesn't always announce itself. It integrates quietly into daily life, turning reflection into purpose. Rather than allowing difficult experiences to exist in isolation, Kelly has spoken about the importance of reflection, about asking not, "Why did this happen?" but "What does this teach?" That shift opens space for empathy, understanding, and connection. It transforms experience into perspective rather than fear. A story larger than fame. This story matters not because Kelly and Mark are public figures, but because their experience mirrors what so many people face privately: uncertainty in relationships, fear of loss, the challenge of staying present when the future feels unclear. Their openness gave language to emotions many people struggle to express. Why this resonates so deeply? At its core, this story is about love responding to uncertainty, about choosing connection over panic, about recognizing that strength doesn't always look like confidence. It often looks like consistency, like staying, like listening, like holding space for fear without letting it define the relationship. A final reflection. Life rarely offers guarantees, but it does offer moments of clarity. Sometimes those moments arrive gently, reminding us to slow down and appreciate what we already have. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos' story isn't about crisis. It's about connection, about partnership built over time, and about the quiet courage it takes to keep choosing love, presence, and gratitude, even when certainty feels out of reach.